With the midterm elections just months away and the next presidential contest a little more than 2 years away, many black voters have a message for politicians, especially President Joe Biden. Pay attention to our economic needs. Inflation is hurting a lot of black families and black entrepreneurs. They want more access to capital. Thousands of people recently gathering in Atlanta to educate themselves about investing and starting businesses and to demand their voices be heard. We have more tonight from CNN's Ryan Young.
How tough have the last 2 years been?
Woo! The last 2 years have been really tough.
The pandemic and inflation have hit Americans hard, increasing long-standing disparities in some communities. And African Americans want the president's attention.
As a middle-class black woman, I don't see the push for the black economic community really exploding. I think the message is being delivered, but I don't think the message is being captured in the way that we want it to be captured.
Black Americans account for $1.6 trillion of spending power in the United States, but often feel ignored.
We want ours. We need ours. We need to have access to capital. We want action. We need action. We demand action.
Earlier this summer, Vice President Kamala Harris announced new public-private initiatives in underserved communities, hoping to kickstart major minority investments.
And I believe, given the breadth of the financial disparities in our nation, the public and the private sector must join forces to take on these challenges.
Thousands of African Americans traveled from all over the country to Investfest in Atlanta in hopes of learning the keys to financial literacy and starting their own businesses. This at a time when African American unemployment is nearly twice the national average. Those here tell me creating jobs is a priority.
The black community has a pre-existing pipeline to prison, but we don't have a pre-existing pipeline to wealth.
Film, TV star, and producer Tyler Perry and Steve Harvey helped headline this event, which is all about education and investing. It's the brainchild of these four men who helped create Earn Your Leisure, a financial literacy movement focused on helping black Americans.
This is a movement, and we call it that very intentionally, right? We grew up and heard things about the March on Washington, right, and the Civil Rights Movement, and that had its time, but right now we're in the financial revolution.
We need to figure out how we can actually attack from the highest level and build our own venture capital funds and have our own private equity firms and do international business, and then we don't actually have to demand the politician to do anything. We can force them to do things. You force them to do things by money.
A recent poll found that 55% of black and 48% of Latino adults say they are currently facing serious financial problems due to inflation. For white adults, it's 38%.
The wealth disparity between blacks and whites was greater in 2018 than 1968. But everything we do needs to be focused on advancing opportunity economically.
Don Peebles beat the odds. His companies control more than $7 billion worth of investments. He believes African Americans need more direct investment from the Biden administration.
I know President Biden. I've known him for many years. He's a very good person. I believe that he is missing the mark on his most loyal and valuable constituency, because without black voters, he would be a private citizen.
With the midterms looming, Democrats will count on African Americans to turn out and vote, but many are hoping for a return on their long-term investment.
Poor people vote, rich people lobby. At the end of the day, if we want to get something done, we got to vote with our dollar.
Ryan Young, CNN, Atlanta, Georgia.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much for that.